Well, that definitely didn't take 3 months. Today is Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. It's been a little over a year since I made my first video on this page. To those who stuck around this long, thank you. It means a lot to me. For those of you who are new, last year I quit my 9 to 5 to pursue day trading full time. I originally put a challenge on myself to get funded in 3 months, and as you can see, it didn't go as planned. It took me way more than 3 months to get funded, which honestly is the reality of trading. Unless you're a genius who is super disciplined, it's probably not going to take 3 months. A lot has happened in the last year, from blowing challenges to passing them, getting funded, and then losing the funded accounts. I'll go more into that in a bit, but reflecting on the last year, I can say that for me, the biggest challenge was getting out of my own way. I know this is the biggest challenge for a lot of traders, but for me, I really struggled with discipline and greed. There were times when I was emotional and chased price, and then there were other times when I won a trade, wasn't satisfied, and then overtraded, but ended up losing everything. I would over risk and break my rules very often. It wasn't the technical analysis or the strategy, it was literally my lack of self-control and lack of gratitude. I wasn't content with enough. I always wanted more. It took a while for me to break out of it, but it finally got to a point where I just had enough. I realized that I was getting in my own way and that every time I broke my rules, it was a choice. I was choosing to over risk and chase price instead of walking away like I know I should. I learned that if you want to be a profitable trader, you need to trade like one, which means sticking to your rules and trusting your system. It also made me realize that the sooner you can overcome yourself and be disciplined, the sooner you will become profitable. So I started to hold myself more accountable and prioritize disciplined trading. I had to get okay with taking losses and realize that the losses don't define me or my skills as a trader. Once I started doing this, I saw a difference in my trading. I haven't completely overcome it. It's still something I'm working on as I continue on in my trading journey. With that, I'm gonna switch over to Top Step to talk more about what happened during my break from social media. I took a break from social media last December because I really wanted to focus on my trading. I was so busy making content that I was neglecting chart work and studying price. I was in the middle of a 50K challenge with Top Step at the time and decided that I needed to put content aside so I can grow as a trader. You can see here that this was the 50K funded challenge that I started last October, and I ended up passing it on March 6th, as you can see here with the Express account, but blew the account shortly after by over risking and over trading. So just coming over to the first 50K funded account, you can see here that the high of the account was $1,258.56. See, my worst day was $2,108.08, and my average winning day was less than my average losing day, as you can see here. So with Top Step, you need to make over $200 for 5 days. You can see that's an objective here. And with this account, I only had 3 winning days before I blew it. Here you can see the requirement. My balance did go below this number, as you can see here. I activated the funded account on March 6th, and I blew it on the 24th of March. And just scrolling down, see here that my average winning trade was $68. My win rate was a 51%. And then my average losing trade was $77. So on average, I was losing more than I was winning. Then I started 2 more 50K challenges. You can see here, I started the 50K challenges on April 3rd, and I passed both of them on April 14th. But again, I ended up blowing them pretty quickly. So if we go check out the stats here, the balance was lower than on the first account at $955.92. Yeah, I only had this account for a day. I was over risking and chasing price. It's pretty emotional when I had these 2 funded accounts. As you can see, my balance did drop below this amount. And so just scrolling down, on average, I was losing more than I was winning. So my average winning trade was about $87.31. My average losing trade here was $100.39. And my win rate was a 40% for this account. And so similar to the other one, I was losing more than I was winning on average, and I had a lower win rate of 40% for this funded account. And I think it was similar stats with the other 50K funded account. I had this one a little longer for 2 days before I blew this one too. And the high of this was slightly less at $934.42. This one was a little better in terms of average winning versus losing. I was winning on average a little more than I was losing, but my win rate was a 37%. So stats aren't the greatest on these 50K funded accounts. And I also started other 50K and 100K challenges, which I ended up blowing. See here, it's ineligible. Here too. Not gonna lie, blowing the 3 50K funded accounts hurt like a lot, and it forced me to finally sit with myself and reflect on what I was doing wrong. That's when I realized that I was getting in my own way by not being disciplined, and that I needed to be content with enough. I needed to stick with my rules and be okay with taking losses. So I started to become more aggressive with being disciplined and just trying to change my perspective when it comes to trading, trying to see myself as that profitable trader with good trading habits. And then after blowing some more 50 and 100K challenges, I got 2 more 100K challenges and passed both of them. But the stats for these are on the new Top Step dashboard, so I'm going to switch over to that. So switching over to the new Top Step dashboard, I bought more challenges and blew them before passing these 2 100K challenges on May 16th, 2025. And so just coming over here to this first one and looking at the stats. And so we see here that it took me 5 days to pass the challenge. My worst day, I made $36, and then on my best day, I made $3,047. Scrolling down here, my profit and loss high was $3,075. My profit and loss low was negative $630. My average winning trade was $518.67. And then my average losing trade was negative $398.75. So on average, I was still winning more than I was losing. And when I calculated that out, that was about a 1.3 to 1. And then my win rate was 80% on this account. And then going to the second challenge. Here, it took me a little longer to pass this one. It took me 7 days. And my worst day for this account was $19.40. And my best day was $2,834.80. And scrolling down, profit and loss high was $2,860. My profit and loss low was negative $640. And my average winning trade was $426.05. And then my average losing trade was negative $218.33. And so when I calculated this out, it was about a 1.9 to 1. So it was more than the other account, but I did have a lower win rate here of 71.43%. So it's interesting to see how the risk to reward and win rate go together. So if you have a higher risk to reward, your win rate tends to go down. And so for this account, it was a 1.9 to 1 with a 71% win rate versus the other one, which was a 1.3 to 1 with an 80% win rate. So you can see that the risk to reward went up, but the win rate went down. I just thought that was really interesting. But just looking at the stats and comparing these 100K accounts with the 50K funded accounts, there's such a difference in the stats. Like my win rate for one of them was a 37%, and I was losing more than I was winning. Versus here, my win rate is higher, and I was on average winning more than I was losing. That just shows the difference between disciplined trading and emotional trading. Because I will say that I was aggressive with being disciplined with these 100K challenges versus with the 50K challenges, I wasn't as aggressive. And I broke my rules and chased price and over risked. And you can see that in my stats. Like here on the 50K, you can see that I was just all over the place. On average, I was losing more than I was winning. I had a lower win rate of 51% here. And total contracts I traded was 599.2 contracts. Like that's a lot of contracts. So that versus here, like 28 trades and only 56 contracts were traded. It's like visual proof that less is more. But yeah, just going back to that previous page, you can see here I have 2 Express 100K accounts, and I'm actually going to switch over to Top Step X to show you. So coming over to Top Step X, I did lock myself out of both of these accounts because I didn't want to be tempted to do too much and overtrade. This was the trade that I took this morning. It was based on ICT's 2025 model using the first presented fair value gap. Something I want to work on is refining my stop losses so I can potentially trade 2 or 3 contracts and work on taking partials, because I only traded 1 contract this morning and I decided to be more conservative with my target. So I set it for around here near these highs, but price ended up coming for the highs here that I had marked out. And so this would have been a great opportunity to take partials. But I only traded one contract, so I couldn't. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on moving forward. But yeah, I'm officially funded, and now I'm going to work on keeping the funded accounts, because it's one thing to get funded, it's another thing completely to keep it. Thank you for following me on my journey. It really means a lot. I'll be posting updates here and there, but for now, my main priority is to be a disciplined trader and keep the funded accounts. So that's what I'm going to be focused on. But I did want to provide an update and encourage you that it is possible to get into trading as long as you don't give up. It's a journey where you learn a lot, especially about yourself. And I'm still learning and will be learning for a long time. Thanks again, and best of luck to you on your trading journey. And I'll see you in the next one.